Hi, welcome to Geek Talk. My name's Jonathan Chestnut. I'm a professor here at Fayetteville State, and we're here to talk about nerdy things. And I've got with me
Josh Soul Train.
Soul Train, and Jared, our
Burton.
faithful advisor. We got a couple topics we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about the Mandalorian, I guess Steer Wars. I know my manager wrote things wrong. Star Wars, I think is what it means. We're talking about the Watchmen TV show, the new Crisis. That's going to be starting in like 2 days. Titans, have y'all seen that?
Yes.
You've been watching Titans?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Black Widow trailer just dropped, so of course we got to talk about that. So first off, the Mandalorian. What do we think?
Really good. I like their take on the character. The character's really cool. He's very interesting. And I've liked all the episodes up to date. The last one from last week was kind of all right, not the best out of the other.
Talking about the Village one?
Yeah, the Village one.
Man, I thought that was awesome.
I thought it was good too.
I felt like they overhyped the ATST.
But see, I think the movie's always underhyped it, the ATST, because you think about in those kinds of worlds, that thing's a monster. I mean, big guns, it's real tall. I mean, it's
Especially going against like Village like that, they're completely undergunned.
yeah. So I mean, I think what they were really showing was how powerful even the stuff even with the Empire isn't there. How dangerous they could really be. I thought it was interesting. They were like, we need more people. It was like the two of them. And then it was like, nah, we got it. Nah, we'll blow this thing up.
Yeah.
It was I mean, I've loved it. I mean, what do you think, Jerry?
I really enjoy it. I mean, have you both read the book? I mean, do you guys read the books for those? Because I'm not familiar completely with, because I'm not a huge Star Wars guy. So I'll go watch the movies. I'll watch the TV shows and things like that when they come up. But I haven't read any of the books or any of the things that kind of fill in the gaps for a lot of people there with some of these storylines. So, I mean, my understanding this is supposed to take place about, what, 25 years after Last Jedi, I believe is what the time?
No, it's right after Episode 6.
Oh, Episode 6.
Six,
Yeah. Okay.
where
The Fall of the Empire.
where the Empire's, when the Death Star is destroyed.
Okay.
Because Vader's still supposed to be
Yeah.
there. 'Cause him and the, I saw a thing today where they were talking about the timelines, and so him and the little Yoda thing are the same age at this point. So I was like, ooh, okay.
I thought it was interesting. So I don't know if it's actual fact then, or if it's just rumor, but it's Yoda and Yaddle's baby, is what it's the love child of those two, which I think
Yaddle is.
Yeah, I was looking it up because so of course I get really weird about this stuff, so I want to find out who's who and whatnot. So apparently Yaddle was the only other person from the species. So she was in the Phantom Menace. In that scene where they walk in, and all the other Jedi Masters are there. So like, it was Wandu, Samuel Jackson's character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like he's in that little guild that they have in there. She's in there.
Oh.
And so this is apparently the love child between Yoda and
See, now I have to go check that out again.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
I never caught that.
Yeah, so I mean, she's only in there for 10 seconds of that movie, apparently. So, but because of course I wanted to know what the lineage was there. So, I mean, to me, that's going to be really cool if they get to that, if that's truly the case. But I mean, for me, the show, not knowing enough about that world and not knowing, the names of everybody, and like for me, it's just fun to see kind of like, it's almost like just a fun Western version of Star Wars, which is, I mean, even in that first episode, you have him breaking one of the animals that it's almost like you're breaking a wild horse, So like, there's just a lot of fun to it. I think if anybody loves those like Westerns, they would love that too.
Yeah, it does. It's like Han Solo, the movie, was very much a Western kind of thing. And so I think when you remove the Jedi factor, you get into this whole new kind of Western structure, and I've been loving it. Just going on. I hadn't really thought through who the Yoda thing is and all that. I figure they'll reveal as they go along. But
I think there's many possibilities of who Baby Yoda could be. They say they're going to reveal his backstory in season 2, though. So I think supposedly the director said they're not going to dwell too much on it this season. I think he may be a clone or some sort of thing the Empire created, trying to create force-like beings or whatever, more powerful force beings. So that's what my theory is about it. But
the Force really hadn't worked out for them.
Yeah, but the Mandalorian, I mean, it's interesting. I like how you said they're showing this without the Jedi. And a lot of people don't know that Star Wars is, without the Jedi, there's so much stuff. Even back in the Clone Wars, before Phantom Menace, the Mandalorians, they were a very powerful society. There were so many tribes and everything. And it's like, even in the Old Republic and all that, there's so much story that's even better, I think, than the Skywalker saga. So I hope that this opens up to a variety of things. It can be even as big as the Marvel movies.
I think the good thing about doing these shorter episodes, like the seasons, you get much more depth though for these characters, right? You don't have to jam everything into a 2.5-hour movie, which is only going to, I think, serve to build this universe that they're trying to create even larger than it already is. I mean, so I think that's going to be a really cool thing to.
And I think with as successful as the Mandalorian's been, we're going to see more of it. We're going to see more, attempts and thought. Okay, so the Star Wars movie comes out. The last of the 9 comes out in December. I haven't got my tickets yet. I know our manager has.
I haven't.
You got yours?
Not yet.
I'm not really sure what to expect. I mean,
Same. Of course, I'm obligated to go see it as a Star Wars and comic book fan. That's me with every movie. I may not like it, I'm still gonna watch it. So, I mean, it looks like it's gonna be interesting. It looks like it will, how do I say? That it will end the franchise. That's what it's gonna do. But I'm not sure what they're gonna do to make up for The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi was not received well by many fans of Star Wars in general, not the new fans, but the old fans. So I'm just gonna watch to see how it goes. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I would like to, but I'm gonna go in with kind of low expectations.
I think when you talk about end the franchise, I think you need to think about it in terms of it's not going to end the franchise. It's going to end that story. Arc.
Yeah, the Skywalker saga.
That paragraph of the story, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, even we were talking about with the Mandalorian, that's going to continue this the whole theme of the Star Wars universe. I don't know what to expect. I'm thinking that we're going to end up with sort of a gray kind of Jedi, sort of some more middle tone.
Yeah.
Because the problem with like the light side is they strived so hard to be good that they broke so easy, and then the dark side they just rebelled against the idea of the good so much. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like politics now. Both sides are too extreme, but the real power lies in the middle, and I think that's what we'll see with the end of this.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
So, Watchmen. You haven't been watching this?
Yeah.
All right, so just me and you on this one.
Okay.
First episode. Did you figure out what was going on in the first episode?
Kind of, and I think we touched a little bit about this before we started. We hit the record button on this, but I was never one that actually like read through the comic books or anything like that, and so not going through right away and looking for spoilers or Easter eggs because I wanted to see how the episode progressed. I was at first I was like, well, are these just characters that I didn't know about, like that were already established characters within the Watchmen? And so, and I don't know if that is the case or if they're kind of creating them as they go along a little bit.
There's 3.
3 of them.
And they talk about Rorschach.
Yeah.
And so that's 4. But Rorschach's dead at this
Yeah.
point.
Which he did. So when he died, and I mean, because they're kind of like this almost feels to me just like a sequel of a lot of the stuff they're playing on was what happened in the movie, right?
Somewhat,
With it,
yeah.
to a degree. Okay, so I mean, I didn't know exactly what was going on, and I was very excited about not knowing exactly what was going on because I didn't know what to expect. And so, I mean, that element of, well, what the hell is going to happen next on this show, right, is only going to make things a little bit more interesting for me. And so every week has kind of been like that, too, of trying to figure out why, like, Veidt is in this weird jail, in outer space jail, things like that of like, well, what did I miss? Like, so trying to go back and research a little bit of that stuff has been really fun and entertaining in that regard.
Yeah, my wife's been dealing with me through this whole thing. Because like the first episode, I was like, at the end, when the credits rolled, I was like, I don't know what I just watched. Because I'd read the books, and the only thing that really connected the two was they talked about the squids, the little squids raining down on people. And the thing that messed me up was in the movie, they didn't use the squid. In the movie, they did it differently. They did this whole nuclear threat thing. But in this universe, it happened like the book,
Yeah.
not like the movie.
Oh.
So there's a disconnect there. So he did.
So what
drop
he did in the movie, I mean, they're kind of same
similar
events,
concept.
but just different. They went about it differently.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
he dropped a giant squid on in the middle of New York City, and it had all this gas. And so here's this dead giant squid from another dimension that was invading Earth, and it killed all the people. Killed like 2 million something. And they show some people that survive it. And so, but it was an idea to create an external threat.
Yeah.
And in the movie, rather than create an external threat by this extra dimensional entity, he made Dr. Manhattan the external threat. And so, so the new show follows the book, not in a lot of ways the movie. So it's interesting. And it's all starting to come together. It's interesting how they've gone from what was originally in the Watchmen. It was about security, because it was a very 80s kind of thing. It was like when we first started seeing national security and people outside of the loop being allowed to do things. And now it's about racism, and the Rorschachs are like the Klan or something like that.
Which I love that, by the way. Like, I love that aspect. Like, for somebody that wasn't like really deep into the comic book element of it, like, I love the fact that they're bringing in real historical events that took place and tying it into this new world. And I think that is such a cool way to do it, because it gives people like me that haven't read that, like that other background of historical outlook at the way things kind of real life events have transpired now into this new world. So
yeah, because I mean, when it came out, it was like, what if, and what made the Watchmen interesting when it first landed was it was a question of what if they existed in the real world? How bad would it really be? And it was not that bad. They were low impact until they ran into Dr. Manhattan. When Dr. Manhattan showed up, you saw power levels that they never encountered before. He was the first superpower. And that's how, like, in the show now, you're seeing like real things like Vietnam. Well, he was there for Vietnam. So rather than losing Vietnam, Vietnam is 51st state. He just conquered it. It's ours. And so it changed a lot of the infrastructure. So it's interesting to see this sort of what-if world. There's been a show on Apple Plus. It's a new streaming called something for the good of all mankind, or something mankind, and it's about the moon launch. And it basically fundamentally takes one question and says, what if the Russians beat us to the moon? And now they're playing this whole what if line out. So the Russians put the first woman on the moon. And so all these things happen, like, Nixon didn't get impeached because he was anti-Russia. And so when they got to the moon first, America got scared and they backed him as a candidate. Real interesting just to see how they can just take one moment, one little thing, and just diverge a whole storyline off of it. So that,
I think one of the most intriguing things about the Watchmen, though, to me, is I view them almost like every single one of the characters, and I'm sure that this is the way it's designed, is almost like these anti-heroes that, like, they're really just horrible people. Like, almost all of them, you can make the case, are just horrible people. It's almost like the boys on Amazon. Like, every single one of those people are just horrible people. Like, and so, like, what do you do when you give people so much power that they can't be toppled, right? And so, like, so essentially, the way Batman versus Superman was kind of played out. But, like, I think it's such a cool way to do that, because, I mean, really, you see reflections of that in society, which I think is the most fascinating part about it to me.
Yeah, there was a line from the Justice League International cartoon where it was like in the first episode, and it was all Supergirl, Captain Atom, and everything else, and they were talking about doing something like going into this country where they're not really supposed to be, and they say, well, you don't want the government watching it over. Green Arrow, he says, I'm the only normal person here, and yeah, I kind of want my government to have a plan in place to deal with y'all if y'all go crazy, and it's like, I'd never really thought about it like that, but in a superhero world, they would really want to try to build these things up. But yeah, you're right. Everybody they're all damaged on some level. So, but now to a different superhero world, Crisis. This airs in 2 days, and they're building up to it in the Green Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman, and Black Lightning. All those are tying together for the Crisis, which is one of the biggest things that ever happened in TV as far as this kind of thing goes. I know you have.
I haven't been keeping up with it. I will watch Crisis when it's all wrapped up, but I haven't been keeping up with the shows. I just know that it's happening.
No, okay.
I haven't been keeping up with
Okay.
it.
So I guess I'm by myself on this one. Well, no, Crisis is, in the comic books, Crisis happened in about 1983, and it was George Perez, some of the greatest art, and it restructured, because I mean, it was the first time a comic book company said, well, we need to get everything back in line, get everything together, because they had stories all over the place. And so they had restarted the world a couple of times, so they had and they had touched on it in a episode or comic of The Flash called The Flash of Two Worlds. And so it was Jay Garrick and Barry Allen met for the first time. And so this started this sort of idea that they had a multiverse. And so in the TV series, they have the Arrowverse, which is Green Arrow and the Flash. They share a world. And then Supergirl has her own world because originally she wasn't on the same network. Now they've launched Batwoman, and now she's on a separate world. Black Lightning has been on a separate world this whole time, and actually they've not included him in any of the crossovers up to this point. But I think what the CW is doing is they're starting, because they're ending Green Arrow, because it's kind of gotten somewhat repetitive. But they're going to use the Crisis like they did in the comic books. In the Crisis, at the end of Crisis, there was only one world left, and the world had been synchronized so that all of these things occurred on this one world. And so there wasn't tons of multiple universes, but all the characters existed in the same place. And it might be a way for the CW to kind of get all their, characters in a line to maybe do like a Justice League TV show or something like that. We'll see how it goes. But it looks like it's going to be fun.
Is this supposed to last all season, or is it just a mini run, kind of like they did with?
It's 8 episodes, and it's going to be. It starts on Sunday, and then it runs through the other shows.
Okay.
But I mean, basically, it's the first time this many TV shows have been connected.
So it's kind of like what they did with the Defenders on Netflix.
Kind of similar to that. Also, I would actually make it closer to like the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Where they all had sort of their standalone thing, and then you brought them together for a movie. Then they did their standalone thing, and then movie. And,
okay. Well, that'd be cool.
It should turn out pretty neat. And it's with the end of Green Arrow, it's like a little sad kind of thing. Titans. You haven't been watching Titans.
I have not.
I've been watching it.
Did you watch the last episode?
Yes.
What do you think?
I knew they were going to kill someone. They said it in the trailer. They're like, one Titan will rise, another will fall. So
oh, yeah.
I was trying to see, so who would they kill that wouldn't make anyone upset? And it's like all the characters there are pretty likable, but the one that they really haven't focused on has been Donna Troy. So spoilers.
I was about to say
spoilers.
spoilers.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Spoilers. She died, but of course no one's really dead in the DC universe. So the thing is, I liked the way it ended. This whole season was pretty good, better than last season, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely better than last season.
Deathstroke is a great character. He's always been like the enemy of the Titans, the Teen Titans. So I like their take on it. And next season, I would say I'm not looking forward to it. I like Starfire. I like her character, but I don't think her sister being as an enemy to the Titans.
Oh, Blackfire?
Yeah, I mean,
Blackfire's one of the original enemies.
I know she's been one of the original enemies, but for me, personally, I'm not too excited for it. But I will still be watching it.
Yeah, last season sucked. I mean, because they were really they weren't getting the kind of cohesion. They were just trying to be too dark. This time you really started to see them like the Teen Titans. I loved like the Aqualad thing and all that. That was cool.
Yeah.
I was actually very upset with killing Donna Troy. Personally, I was kind of thinking they were going to kill Gar. Gar Logan, the Beast Boy, because he's the most difficult. And the animation they do for the tiger doesn't look that great. And so I said, he only turns into a tiger, whereas in the comics, he turns into any animal that he's been exposed to. And so he's a great character, but he's a special effects intensive. Where Donna Troy, she had the lasso and super strength, and you know, that's a lot easier to play off of. And at one point there towards the end, I mean, where it was mostly all women. I mean, it was Donna Troy, Dove, Starfire, and Raven in the car. I'm going. This is the kind of TV show that I feel good like with my daughter watching. It's like there's no guys going to run in and say, but here's a group of girls and they're just handling it. And I was like, I love that. And you know, but losing Donna was like, not thrilled with that. And because I like Superboy and I like the fact they have crypto, but it's sort of a so done idea of Superboy, Superman, and all of that. And I don't understand things because I mean, when you're watching the shows, it's like, okay, this tower's falling and Donna Troy's going to run over and grab this tower. Where was Superboy?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, there's so many different things that could have happened. Superboy could have grabbed all the people. All the people could have just moved to the side and let it fall. It's like, it was a way just to kill off a character, in my opinion. It was a dumb way to do it, but...
Yeah, they should have let Deathstroke kill her or something like that. That would have been, you know, because...
And they also killed Deathstroke, which was kind of stupid, too, because Deathstroke really wouldn't be...
Well, Deathstroke can always come back, because he's like
Yeah.
Wolverine. He'll regenerate. But we'll see. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, now they've got Ravager on there, and they've got Jericho, and Jericho's just this disembodied thing, which is kind of an interesting take on the character. So, keep watching it. It's gotten better and better. I'm really hoping to see what the Doom Patrol next season is going to look like, because, you know, that's a weird show. I mean, when they basically jumped through the dimensional rift through the goat's mouth and went to a whole nother universe inside the goat. Hard to follow. And the last thing we were going to talk about today is Black Widow. We're almost out of time. So the Black Widow trailer, have you seen it?
Yes.
You seen it? I was blown away.
Really?
I was like, man, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And I kind of see what they're done, just guessing, because they're bringing her sister in as the blonde-haired Black Widow. And so when she's gone in the Avengers, you have somebody that could step up and be the new Black Widow.
That's what I've been hearing, that she's gonna, because I know in the comics they were kind of like enemies, or it was kind of different in the comics, but they're saying that she's just probably gonna take the role of Black Widow until Scarlett Johansson may come back, because you know they might revive her.
Is this supposed to be a standalone movie, or is it? I mean, is it going to be? Because I mean, they could always do.
They might be standalone.
If in the comic she's a villain of Black Widow, they could tease that for the second movie.
I know right now it's a one shot.
Okay.
I don't know what they're thinking as far as multiples go. You know, it's one of those. Marvel has always been very hesitant to have a female lead superhero show, because even with Captain Marvel did well, but it didn't do like Wonder Woman. You know, Wonder Woman really polarized because there's an identity issue with, and Marvel has, from a comic book standpoint, Marvel spent years trying to get a strong female character like Wonder Woman, whereas DC just bought into Wonder Woman and just kept it going. So Marvel has gone through like She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, they did Valkyrie, all the ones they've kind of like tried to roll into here. I mean, there's talk of a She-Hulk movie.
The She-Hulk is definitely getting a show on Disney Plus. That's confirmed. So.
But is it going to be animated, or is it going to be?
It's live action, I think. It's along with Moon Knight, along with the.
Moon Knight's going to be interesting.
That's
that
what
guy's crazy.
He's like Batman for the Marvel universe, I hear.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's crazy. You know, Batman's crazy. I mean, we always just kind of assume we understand Batman's crazy, but he actually has, in the comics, he's schizophrenic. He has multiple personalities, and they all kind of work together as a superhero team. And like Moon Knight is one of them, and there's a cab driver who gathers information, who's one of them, and there's a rich dude who buys all the equipment, that's one of them. But it's all one dude, but he's in his head it's separate people.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, it's a deep character, and it's visited by the Egyptian god of the moon, and so you know that's where the Moon Knight comes in. It's very Egyptian motif, which was always one of those things. You know, he's Egyptian motif and he's white as chalk. I'm like, at least make it Middle Eastern, you know. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I saw they put Tigra and Dazzler, the animated series, on hold That was one when I saw it. I was like, okay, this is going to be weird. You know, cat girl, but you know they're trying to get into that superheroine cartoon range that DC's really swimming in. All right. Anything else y'all want to cover? Because we got like no minutes.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. Oh man. All right. Well, we're gonna let the boss edit the time on this. I appreciate y'all. Y'all got some comments? Leave them down below, and I will see you next time. It didn't go high that time.